Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to Bohemian Stars and Ocean Heart Readings. I'm Bohemia. Welcome back. If you've been a visitor or subscriber previously, please go ahead and hit the like and subscribe. We're going to get into a power through and power up reading. What do you need to just power through in life? You know, sometimes it's hard to tell. Should we sit there and try to figure something out? Should we take a softer approach? What should we just warrior up and power through? And how do we power up? What's our resources? What's our superpower right now? So that's this reading, inspired by the day of Mars, even though by the time I'm actually getting it fully said to you right now, it's a little bit into the hours of Wednesday morning, but still Tuesday night. So connect with whoever your warrior being is, the warriors in your life that you appreciate under the day of Mars. And it's a Sagittarian moon. So all of this, everything turned out very orange and red and yellow, which is perfect for this reading. The sacral chakra, solar plexus chakra. Everything we need to gain stability, align with our own desires and wants, and step into our own power and like the duality deck and the tarot apocalypsis. All right. So we also do have the subconscious cards from the bottom of the deck there. So stay tuned towards the end of the reading or at the end of the reading. I will give the subconscious power up, power through cards for everybody. But first, we will have you pick your cards. So feel free to pause at any time and see which juju is calling you. No. We have orange calcite for number one. We have some garnet, actually, that looks like juicy ruby on number two. We have carnelian on three. We have a rutilated quartz on four, fire quartz on five, and red calcite here on six. So the color is not showing the glory when I'm zoomed out. So here we go. Get some zoomed in energy of the juiciness. All right, and there we go. So you can pause it there if you want. We're going to go ahead and get into it. And let's see, for those of you who chose orange calcite, please go ahead and timestamp if you have time to. I never have time to these days. Just getting the readings out is a miracle. So let's see. Number one, we have the Two of Swords reversed for those of you who chose orange calcite number one. Okay, so this is especially Libras out there, those of you with Libra planets or dealing with a Libra. This, what you need to power through is decision making. So you're just like, 25 eons later, make your move. And that's just not what needs to be done right now. So the excuses of, well, I gotta strategize, I gotta think it through, I gotta plan it, I gotta get a second opinion, right? I gotta consult the cards first. This is like, nah, no more consulting, no more thinking things through, no more dragging things along. It's time for you to just power through making a decision. Go with your gut instinct, that seed of power, that primal, gut energy that never leads you wrong. If you ever test it in life, I'm sure every time your gut told you something, it was right. So, this is telling you no more pausing, right? No more pause button. From the Game of Thrones tarot, we have the Eight of Cups reversed. So power through goodbyes that you're not yet ready to say or to allow to be goodbyes, even though you're feeling very emotionally I'm feeling concerned, I'm feeling unstable or upset about a lot of relationships or situations in your life. You're not allowing yourself to just drop it and just stop caring about it and just let it go. It's almost like, well, feeling something toxic is better than feeling nothing at all. And this is saying you need to power through that. You need to cut that like a jet ski on water. Like, let that feeling go so that you can open up to something new. And you can't feel power basically while you are in these toxic emotional situations with other people. So those energies are not going to coexist. So a lot of you do have to make the decision to walk away from a relationship, a job, a family dynamic, very toxic, and it's at your power and it's keeping you from stepping into your fullness of solidity deck. And that's actually a Pisces card too. And this could be very Aquarian, is the others. So part of you could be afraid about being and you could be doing this to others as well, or you could be receiving this. You are afraid to step into your power because when you do it, you are instantly marked and you're instantly different, or you're people that you see getting treated so badly, and so you're like, well, why don't I just either, play the field? Why don't I just try to maintain whatever little grubby favor I can have? You know what I'm getting differences all the time, but I mean, like, you don't just uh, excuse me, but he betrayed his star, and so he was willing to like gravel and grime for any kind of attention, just not dying and being ostracized. He could, and he did horrible, despicable things that led to the demise of very good people in order to kind of save himself from growing and actually having to power up. So some of you might be very much in that state right now where it's like you're staying and powering up, and you're dealing with people who are very pretty, very grimy. They purposely, socially, and emotionally manipulate. And it's very abusive dynamic. Some of you, it's definitely at work and you feel very boxed in. It's like you can't breathe in your cubicle, or whatever the environment there. Some of you, it is on, I'm seeing the drinking scene, or, like the party scene. And some of you, it is with family. Some of you, it's even within groups of like activists or some. This is supposed to be more enlightened and like open-minded what's going on. And yet if you were to truly stand, everyone starts clicking up. Once, it doesn't matter what group it is, once humans are involved, everyone eventually starts clicking up and getting petty, and you are asked to stand out from this, and you will have the right kind of people join you, or at least the right kind of spiritual energy and unity in you. What power animal is your example? So for the power animal cards in this reading, is these are what we look to see their power. And if you get an animal that it's hard for you to see its power, that means that it's hard for you to see your own power, because your power is either hiding or thriving or developing in a similar way to this animal. So pelican, people with a powerful animal, and yet they are totally boss if you ever see them on the beach. Forgiveness, let go of your judgments. So, for those of you who are the ones that are being petty and kind of ostracizing and bullying others around so that you can feel this sense of worth and like, no, I'm special, I'm a favorite, like you're not, you're beneath me, you're not like us, kind of dynamic, it's saying to let go of your judgments, stop treating others that way, because that judgment's just going to throw back on you and reflect back on you, and it's keeping you in a toxic situation, and you're not really playing fair with that. For those of you who are suffering through it, you might have to forgive some people who are not, you might feel like, well, I'm not picking sides, or I'm not standing up for myself because no one else is. Like, yeah, these people are bullying me, but other people that I love aren't standing up for me. They don't even care. And so you're staying in this toxic situation, trying to force other family members or other coworkers to stand up for you instead of doing it yourself, empowering up yourself. So this is saying you need to have forgiveness. You need to have forgiveness to yourself, and you need to have forgiveness for those who are also weak and not powering up, or who are, maybe even taking advantage, and like you love them, but they're just like, taking the opportunity of you being down to get themselves leveled up or whatever. So you have to see how that lies, but it feels like it's time for, it's like game over is what I'm getting. It's time for game over for all these. I feel like those little ghosts on Pac-Man that just like are always in the way, eating away at everything. So that is your power up, power through reading, what you need to focus on, where your power is being lost, and where you can regain and power up, for those of you who chose orange calcite. Alrighty. For those of you who chose this beautiful garnet in the rough, ooh, look at that. Your card from the Tarot Apocalypse is the Ten of Cups. So what you need to power through is the fear of achieving your happy ending, and the fear of others. You might have, like, it might be really difficult for you to see people be really happy, and feel like you can get that, and that you can obtain it, and that you can be gentle and like open and flowing and just receive when you have really good stuff come along. You might have to power up in order. I feel like some of you are like terrified of being engaged right now, or you have the opportunity to expand your family, or somebody who is willing to like adopt with you or create a family, or the ability to get your own house or something of that nature, and others are supporting supporting you and wanting to believe in you, and you're not believing it at all. You're just like, I don't think I can do this. It feels like a trap. It feels like, no, that's not real. It's not real life. So that is what you need to power up, so that you can power through that kind of fear and that fog, and realize that you can make this real. You can, like, that's just a few stairs. You can beat that. But some of you do really struggle with kind of hating on others. So whenever the reason these readings are kind of two-sided this way is because whenever we don't feel like we have power, we can lash out on others or try to hold others to our same place of limited power. So those of you who are not, you know, uh, living to your full power might also kind of, get a kick out of watching, maybe it's like celebrities, or, someone looks beautiful and they lost weight and, oh, well, they just had plastic surgery. Look at that, look at that, look at that. And just having to needle away at people's happiness. Some of you might be getting this from others too, where whenever you're happy, people try to take your happiness down, and you don't stand up for yourself, and you don't kind of protect your happiness, or you start not believing that your happiness is real as well. And that's something that you need to power through. Here we go, Six of Swords. So some of you, it definitely does, like, some of you, like, really, it's about leveling up to another area of life. It reminds me of, like, when someone gets drafted in a sport, or someone gets, like, like a record deal, or somebody gets that promotion, or, somebody has the opportunity to travel. It doesn't mean you didn't do hard work. It just means that this is that level up moment. And there's just like this terror of doing it, and of leaving certain people and places behind, and certain mindsets behind. So what you need to do to claim your own power is to allow that, allow those who come and support to continue to come and support, allow those relationships to change. Allow yourself to step deeper into a self-love. And I feel like you do have people around you who really love you and want to go to that next level with you. And there's a very you do have a little bit of like a blessed shining star that's on you, and that's okay, because previously you might have been through a lot of stuff in life, and so that's nothing to be ashamed of. So allowing yourself to bask in it a bit. All right, from the duality deck, patterns. And so this is what it is. Some of you come from patterns of life where this is what happens. Like, maybe from your hood, your barrio, wherever you're from, this is not how the story ends. Maybe a lot of your friends, like, they're married to people that they met in the small town that they got stuck with from high school or whatever, and you moved on and did things completely different, and you have this beautiful happy ending. Maybe you're abroad and, living in a different place, or in a more exotic or beautiful location, or whatever it is. And so you're breaking these patterns, and as you are willing to break these patterns, it comes with having to let go of the energy of all these people and all of this kind of hate and shame that comes with allowing yourself to be successful. Some of you feel like, well, previously I did some things too. Like, I wasn't always a good person. Like, I didn't always handle things right. I had all this baggage, I had to do a lot to get here. And this is saying to release your patterns. That's the point of growing spiritually. That's the point of being here, is to, allow yourself to release and learn and grow and better yourself. You who have these things, it's saying that that is there. If you burn negative habits that you're in, and it's going of love here. And it leads to, joy with friends, spiritual joy, creative joy, family joy, recognition, beautiful travel. I feel like some of you are going to live overseas. Okay. Ooh, owl, omens. Pay attention to signs. This is your power animal. See, and I said it, that I felt you had like kind of a guiding star, protective energy around you, and this is ancestors right here. So, if you are worried about, family dynamics, and like your family's like, that's not the way we do things. Who do you think you are? This is your ancestor saying, no, you are correct for breaking these patterns, and we empower you to do so. So really pay attention to signs that are sent to you, repetition, especially when you're seeing owls. This is a time for you to really step into a deeper wisdom that allows you that happiness, like that real happiness for you to get your life the way that you want it to be, and also to share it with others who believe in that joy and love as well. So that's a beautiful thing to power up to, and a good reason to power through what you're going through now. Oh, I like that one. Okay, I like them both. Carnelian for number 3. Interesting one, isn't it? Okay, for those of you who chose Carnelian. Ooh, the Queen of Cups. And she's saucy. Look at her. She knows her worth. The Dove, she has a very Aphrodite energy going on. And I don't remember exactly who she is. They're all significant people in the Tarot Apocalypse, so I'll have to see that sometime. But this here is, you have to power through emotional things is what we're looking at. You could be connected with a water sign, Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, or be one yourself, or you could just either be lacking that element or in denial of that element in your natal chart, in your life, and in your expression. So some of you, and you guys with water, you might swing back and forth between this. It's like, on the one hand, there is going to be a part of you that gets just completely, look at those waves, just completely engulfed in your own feeling, carried away by emotions, over the top, dramatic, just, and this could just be internal. You might never show that externally, but inside, like, that's how it is. Just dramatic emotional reactions, just consumed by your own feeling. And then on the other side, it's like, I'm not going to, allow any kind of feeling. I don't want to, that it can take you away and kind of throw off. It's ironic because it's like a lot of intuition, but when mixed with so much emotion, it becomes irrational. And so some of you close that down, and you're closing down to all emotion, all love, and maybe to a particular person who really wants, they have their eye on you, and they know, they're like, okay, I'm a good person, but I don't feel the need to bite my tongue and play coy because of that. Like, I'm full steam ahead. This is a very direct Queen of Cups, very cheeky, though sweet kind of energy. So, for those of you, you might have to step into confidence to interact with this kind of person and realize, you know what, I can have control of my emotions. I can be an emotional, sensitive, sassy person all in once. I can be a creative, nurturing kind of person, and that doesn't take away my power. Now, some of you might be being put in the role of even like homemaker, or like, no, you're the mom friend, or you're the too sensitive one, or you're the one who's just the hopeless romantic. You don't really, and as such, you might feel like that takes away some of your power, or that it's not doing justice to those qualities in you. And that's a place where your power is leaking away. And yet, to power up is actually to claim all of that, to show that you are the nurturer, the caretaker, the creative, the intuitive, the emotional one, and that those are mad strengths. So, from the Game of Thrones tarot, we have the Seven of Swords reversed. So, this card here, and it has Sam Tully when he's taking the sword back, right? That should be his inheritance, and he's jacking it. Hopefully that's not a spoiler of any kind if you haven't seen. So this is a card of no longer, this is like, your power comes from no longer having emotional avoidance, and no longer allowing others to tell you what you can and can't do, no longer having others tell you that being sensitive isn't radical enough, or isn't tough enough, or isn't intense enough. And that's perfect with him on here, though. Oh, he's not Tully, I said Tully. But with Sam, that's kind of his character in this deck, in this world of Game of Thrones too, is he's this very sensitive guy, and he does very sensitive, nurturing things at times where it's like all out like terror and war, and it makes no sense. And yet somehow through that, it actually builds him into like this like tough person, and he gets this he gets a little swagger to himself, and will start standing up for himself. And by protecting and nurturing others, it makes him step into his power. So it's actually a perfect card. So no longer allowing yourself to hold back from acting. Your nurturing can be power, empowered. Think of that mama power. Think of that adrenaline of, they say the grannies lifting the car off the child or something, and these adrenaline filled situations. That's an act of pure nurturance, of love, of protection. And so here is not letting that get away from you anymore or trying to get rid of it anymore, but claiming it. All right, surrender. So surrendering to those emotions in a healthy way, not when they build up and it's you know, rough waters and kind of a weird kind of rage, but surrendering to them as they're coming, as they're going, when they feel that most vulnerable, when they feel the most right, and the times that you're like, oh God, here I go, letting that happen. That is your empowerment. That is your superpower. Giving into that is going to lead you into beautiful places. And here it's like a white flag. It's like, whoa, am I just giving up? Am I just letting that person win? How is that power? How is that empowering? But it's not. Your emotions are going to guide you where that situation needs to go. And your feelings will adapt and change. So the moment that it starts crossing the line, you will feel that, right? And then you can adjust as well. So you don't have to feel like, oh, if I cry, then that's it. The whole thing is done, is what I'm saying. Look at this, koala empathy. Speak less and listen more. So some of you, yes, are just like probably floored and like, no, really? I don't think so. I want to be a badass. I don't think my power comes from being freaking sensitive. But this is saying be freaking sensitive, okay? We have koala. They're so chill, right? They look intense though. Empathy, speak less and listen more. And I feel like this is listen to yourself. Don't explain away how you're feeling. Don't feel like you have to even take in the negativity of others. Just with empathy, with feeling, listen to what they're really saying truly, and make your decisions, your moves, your power moves through that, and it's going to get you into good places. All right. Let's see. So that's for those of you who chose number 3, incarnation or carnelian. For those of you who chose rutilated quartz, see if I can get a better focus on that. It's number 4. Okay. We have from Tarot Apocalypse, 9 of Cups. I feel like this is one of them that I'm going to do more than one at a time. Judgment reverse. Ooh, look at him. Fear free. Butterfly. Ooh, that's power. Transformation. Get ready for a big breakthrough. Okay. So, okay. Like cut out. Okay, so but really I think a lot of you, it's to actually stop giving a flying care about that, and just maybe you went through pregnancy, or you stop being an extreme gym rat who's overly critical about yourself, or whatever it is, and you are feeling okay with rocking a different style body, rocking a different style life, letting it out that you do cosplay, whatever just seems extravagant and extra and different and luxe and you, like you're ready to just show that. And that's great. And that is where your power comes. So powering through false judgments and allowing yourself to be in a place where your dreams can come true, where you can live luxe and lush, turning on their head these judgments from others is a big thing too. And it's kind of like even your spirit is like leveling up in a way that your spirit only had so much wisdom coming in and incarnating, and so now it's like you wouldn't even judge yourself now with the knowledge you've accrued the way that your spirit might have when you first came, because you're learning, you're growing, which is the point, which is great. And so even some previous judgments or rules you had for your life that were like even spiritually set in stone by like your higher self, you're gonna start throwing those off and being like, nah, I thought that at first, but things are changing. It's not what I thought it was. And I'm going to free myself up to go ahead and experience these different things. And that is a wonderful thing to work through. And here we see literally the Lion card, fear free. like just fierce and fear free. And I love it because the butterfly's transformation is their own. They completely go into their own cocoon, you know, and do what they do. We don't know exactly what they do, and just like glorify themselves. And that's what I see. It's like you're gonna have this differently. Like, think how extra a butterfly probably looks to some caterpillars that are just starting out and that can barely, they can't even get their little caterpillar life together, can't even find some good leaves to munch. How are they going to go over and be a butterfly, right? But when they get to that time and they're, you know, working on up themselves, then they start to get it like, oh wait, okay, like I could be a butterfly. So that's that's what you're kind of dealing with other people. Some people, they don't get it because they're, you know, they're basic caterpillars right now, and you're ready for the full wingspan. So go fear free into that. Your power is being empowered and not fearing. No fear, no fear. You know, it's like indulgence, no judgment, no fear. And so this is going to be a huge breakthrough for you. And it's going to help some dreams and wishes that you've had for a long time come through and manifest. And you're going to take yourself right through them just by being your own glorious self. So go ahead and express yourself on the outside too is a huge thing, all right? All right, and it could be a good time for the arts or creativity for you. Yes, I like it, I like it. For those of you who chose this glorious fire quartz, okay, focus. Which is number 5. King of Swords. Ooh, Odin. So some of you are really having to power through a lack of knowledge. It might feel like it's so hard for you to accrue your knowledge or wisdom, or to express it in a way that you feel like adequately. Maybe that's why I've been like stumbling around this whole time. Adequately, you know, conveys what you're trying to say and express. But some of you, I feel like you literally are like, man, like I don't feel smart. Like I don't feel like I can attack the issues that I want to attack. I don't feel like I can you know, flirt and communicate with people the way I want to. I don't feel like I have enough knowledge to pursue the positions that I want to, you know, work in my career. Some of you had very tough time in school, and I see that some of you, it's like you are smart. Like people think you're smart, and you know, actually standing in the way that makes it difficult. So powering through the lack of knowledge by realizing that just because you have to sacrifice for to get some knowledge does not mean that you are less intelligent or that you were never as smart as everyone else. It just means that you care and thirst for knowledge even more. So if you have to work really, really hard, it's like everyone on boom, boom, boom on social media, they know what's happening, they know what's going on, they have an opinion on it already, they know how to do it, da 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 da, and you're just overwhelmed like by everyone's opinions, everyone's noise, everyone's life experience, and you know, or maybe you have a lot of that yourself, but you just like, you go to write a post, you go to try to, you know, get it out there, and you're just like overwhelmed. And so this is a power through that. You have a lot of knowledge, you have a lot of wisdom, you have things that could really give guidance to others. You truly do. If you've been wanting to write a blog or a book or something of that nature, that is, you're right. Your mind and your words are your power, and that's why it hurts when you feel like you're not heard, and when you feel like you're shut down. You could try a different format. You know, if you try dictation instead of writing it yourself, or if you try doing videos instead of doing blogs, or you know, see if you can do your words in a different way, use a different platform, use a different pen and paper. Like sometimes the craziest things will trigger us to be able to release and flow. But powering through that is going to be a huge asset to you. And you know, some of you, it's speeches. All right, I just got this big flash of someone who has, you know, could be a real big head in a company and help that company move in the right direction for the community, but they're terrified of doing speeches. All right, so working on that. For some of you, it's because of your demographic that you are afraid to speak up in certain instances. For instance, like I was seeing a woman, you know, afraid of the criticism of speaking up in front of a predominantly male board. Um, you might even practice speeches and communication, but you're still blocking yourself. Power through that, okay?